Adolescence is a time when young people try to find out who they are. It is a time when they fall in love for the first time and they believe that nothing can match the intensity of this love. They are convinced the world begins and ends with the person they love. It may be toxic, but it is powerful. Innocence and desire make a potent mix. We are meant to be together so no one can stop us is a dream for which some young people are willing to kill. Family blood runs deep, especially when it's spilled. Today we're going to be unraveling the story of 12-year-old Jasmine Richardson, who is a daughter that wants payback. She is the youngest Canadian to kill her whole family, so let's dive in. Jasmine was born in the Richardson family in 1990. She was described as a happy and social girl. As she grew up, her relationship with her mother could not have been any better. She had a close loving relationship with her father too, but that is until Jeremy Steinke came into the picture. In January of 2006, at the age of 12, Jasmine met 23-year-old Jeremy Steinke at a punk concert. Jeremy Steinke was a goth that described himself as a reincarnated werewolf who had lived for 300 years. He was often described as wearing a vial of blood around his neck, and some even claimed that he liked the taste of blood. She was a young, impressionable teenage girl with pretty much no experience with men, so she immediately falls in love with him. She was really caught up by the attention of this guy, who was saying amazing things to her about how beautiful she was and what she meant to him. They became inseparable. It's the first relationship she ever had with the boy. It's everything she dreamed it would have been. It's the castle in the sky. But after meeting Jeremy, Jasmine's behavior changed dramatically. She became more interested in the goth group at her school and started to wear all black outfits and very dark makeup with the intentions of making herself look older. People at her school remember being scared of her and many times tried to avoid her. The teachers also would criticize her often regarding her dressing style and how she acted. What no one knows is that her boyfriend was fighting his own demons. He had a troubled background. His mother was an alcoholic that took medication for depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. His father used to whack him with a belt and grab him by the ears to drag him up to bed. His mother's second husband would abuse him on a daily basis, and her third husband once pushed his head into a deep freezer. He was a target for bullies all his life, which contributed to his low self-esteem. This is one of the reasons he dropped out of high school. With all this going on, Jeremy started to have mental health issues. His mother said that he often told her he wished he was never born. He used to cut his own arms and once attempted to hang himself. He had been prescribed different psychotic drugs for depression, anxiety, anger, and for all sorts of psychological problems. But sometimes he stopped taking his medication and instead he used marijuana daily, and this made him highly unstable. But Jasmine was in love and wanted her parents to accept the relationship. Nonetheless, when they found out about her 23-year-old boyfriend, they became furious. They didn't like that he was older, they even considered him a pedophile, and decided to forbid her from seeing him. But her parents' opposition only added fuel to this romantic fire that was burning. Now they needed each other more, so the young couple starts communicating online. They both belong to an online community named vampirefreaks.com, which was built to unite acclaimed vampires. On the platform, Jasmine's page went under the name Runaway Devil, and it ended with the text, "Welcome to my tragic end." Here she lied about her age, saying she was 15. Sometimes Jasmine would talk to her parents to try to convince them to accept Jeremy, but all she was hearing was no, no, no. And to her, that was poison. She started to hate them for this. Soon Jasmine would make a terrifying choice between her family and her man. Jeremy was now everything to Jasmine. She was ready to do anything to be with him, including killing her own family. Although Jasmine had discussed her plans to kill her parents with her friends on more than one occasion, none of them really took her seriously, but now she was willing to make it become a reality. One night before the murders, Jasmine began emailing Jeremy. She talked about a plan that involved killing her parents. The night night before the murders, they watched Oliver Stone's movie called Natural Born Killers, from which they got inspiration for what was about to happen. In the plot, the boyfriend Mikey had to kill his girlfriend's parents so she could be free of their control and live with him. On the 22nd of April 2006, late at night, Jeremy snuck into Jasmine's house wearing a ski mask and armed with a knife. Both parents, Mark and Deborah, were asleep when a noise woke them up. Deborah went to check the house when suddenly Jeremy started to viciously stab her. As Mark heard his wife's screams, he ran downstairs to try to fight Jeremy when using a screwdriver, but he was soon stabbed to death as well. Jeremy then went upstairs where Jasmine was stabbing in the chest her little brother Jacob while he pled for his life. He finished the job by slitting his throat. 2 hours after the death of her parents and brother, Jasmine and Jeremy were laughing and kissing at a nearby restaurant. The next day, a 6-year-old boy that was Jacob's friend came by the house hoping they could play together. He knocked on the door but no one answered, so he looked through the window to see if anyone is home and saw the bodies of Mark and Deborah covered in blood. He ran to his house and told his parents what he had seen. They immediately called 911. When police arrived at the crime scene, they found out that Jasmine is missing. At first, the investigators thought Jasmine had been kidnapped or maybe even killed. No one even considered she might have been involved in the murders. The police put out a search for Jasmine. They released a statement saying they were searching for Jasmine Richardson with regards to a serious family matter. Police officers also went to her school where they interviewed her classmates and searched her locker. Here they found a drawing of a girl lighting a house on fire with her family inside and running to her boyfriend's truck. Now it looked like Jasmine might not have been so innocent and turned from missing person to murder suspect. Eventually, the police officers found them and both were charged with the 3 murders. While looking for a motive for the gruesome crimes, the police came across multiple online accounts that belonged to both Jasmine and Jeremy. They assumed that Jeremy, being the older one in the relationship, was the one who came up with the brutal crime plan, but their online accounts told a different tale. According to police reports, it was Jasmine who first proposed the plan. In an email, Jasmine wrote, "I have this plan. It begins with me killing them and ends with me living with you." It seems that in the beginning, Jeremy resisted the idea of committing murder, but Jasmine kept begging him to do it. He was afraid she's going to leave him if he refused to participate in her plot. So eventually Jeremy became open to the idea, telling her, "Well, I love your plan, but we need to get a little more creative with details and stuff." The story took hold of the Canadian press and shocked the nation. While awaiting trial behind bars, the two exchanged letters frequently, but at no time did they express any remorse for their actions. Jeremy even proposed to Jasmine and she accepted. Jasmine pled not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder and went on trial in June of 2007. It lasted 1 month, and in July, after 3 hours of deliberation, the jury decided she was guilty on all 3 counts. She was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, which is the maximum sentence allowed by the Youth Criminal Justice Act from Canada. In December of 2008, Jeremy Steinke is convicted of first-degree murder. He will be eligible for parole after serving 25 years. In 2016, Jasmine's 10-year sentence was officially completed, which means that now she is living a free life. But not everyone is satisfied with the punishment. Some believe that 10 years for 3 murders is just a slap on the wrist, while others think that Jasmine is a girl that made a big mistake early on in life, but she deserves a second chance. What do you guys think about this case? Share your thoughts in the comments section and don't forget to subscribe. Stay safe.